I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Nozomi Sora joins us. Hi.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nozomi Sora. I am a Kitsune Shrine Guardian of the Astrum Guild. My whole purpose in life is sharing anything that I can to brighten anybody's day.
Well, that's cool. You win. I'm
normally
on,
like
I go for your.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah. No, all you had to do is say that, and I'm on your side for that. But I've been able to talk with some folks from the Astrum and online and interview a little bit, and y'all seem to be pretty good folks.
Yeah, I know you had an interview with Lunar.
Yeah.
I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but everybody in that group is just absolutely wonderful. It's completely changed kind of my expectation of what being in the VTuber community is like.
Yeah, it's a good group of folks, and we're going to have some a few links in the description for folks who want to tune in and see what they've got going. I recommend it wholeheartedly.
I mean, same. I'm a little bit biased, but same.
Yeah, a little bit biased. When did you get started with the VTubing stuff?
So my first stream was, I want to say, sometime in June or July of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took a break for a long while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Halloween night, I came back, and since then I've been doing it regularly.
So what caused you to take that break?
It's intimidating to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was overwhelming. I was learning so much. There's so much to learn that it can be hard to keep up. So I just needed to take some time and learn some things to feel more confident about what I was doing.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it is a big step, no matter what. I mean, everybody who does this is, to me anyway, is awfully courageous to get out there in front of potentially the entire world. I mean, you're
100%. Yeah, I'm still in amazement of like just the thought that, oh God, I do actually do this, and other people do this, and anybody can hear me.
That's true. I mean, did you? Sounds like that you weren't a person who really looked for the audience when you were younger.
Absolutely not. I grew up with still have pretty severe social anxiety, so it's hard for me to, and that's part of the reason that I got into being a VTuber specifically. Mm-hmm. It gives me that bit of separation and makes it easier to interact with people.
Yeah. So I mean, I've said before, it's you, but it's also not you.
Right. It's the version of me that I want to share with the world.
Mm-hmm. And you can kind of put that little bit of a shield up just to keep yourself comfortable and
right,
and work from there. But it to me, I hear folks from all sorts of. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I get to hear a lot of people's different stories, and seemingly the most, maybe by a 60-40 margin, are folks who are doing this are folks who really didn't want to be entertainers or didn't look to be entertainers, and then became entertainers in one way or another. Sounds like that's what's happened for you.
Yeah, it's strange to hear that's such a commonality, just because I do know a lot of people who it's always been something they want to do. I know a lot of singers who that's all they've ever done is they've wanted to, be more or less on the stage.
Wow.
But it's surprising to hear that you've had so many experiences with people who I kind of understand.
Wow. Yeah, it really it's interesting to note that it's not a big margin, but folks who found their voice in a way and able to find the right soil to bloom in. Is that a good analogy?
That's I love that.
Yeah, it because really we get to see so many people who otherwise in my youth we would have never heard from because the
I think that's again that's one of my favorite parts about being a VTuber is with that kind of that separation.
uh
You get to hear a lot more voices that would normally have not shared themselves. So it's a huge variety of people.
yeah, it is, and it is a great place for folks who come in without any expectations or pretensions, hopefully, about what they particularly want. Although there's certainly probably someone who will fit what you're looking for. If you're just looking for a way to be entertained, there are so many different people doing so many different things. Um,
Yeah, that's there are a lot of people who struggle with I don't think anybody's going to want to watch me, but realistically, there's an audience for everybody.
mhm,
You're going to find your niche.
yeah,
It's there's for every type of person streaming, there are 100 people who want to watch that.
yeah, yeah. You
Just
just gotta
getting out in
find
front
them.
of them.
Yeah, you gotta maybe market a little bit and find where they're at.
It's the whole game.
Yeah, yeah. And all the VTubers I talk to are always like, "Don't say that word, marketing." You
Marketing.
have to do it every once in a
That's what
while.
it is though.
Yeah, whether it's networking a little bit, whether it's finding the right people to collaborate with, or getting on the right Discord server sometimes.
Yeah.
And
It's all right place, right time. The only reason that I ended up in Astrum, our leader Stabilis was upset because there's a I'm gonna say
mhm.
it. There's a trend on Twitter where a lot of people will act as though they're looking for friends when really they're just looking for followers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he was really upset by this, and he was like, "Well, if you want actual friends, I would love to meet you properly." And I was invited to join the group.
Well, the folks that I've been able to talk to and interview, it's a really fun group, and I really my stamp of approval is on it for what that's worth. So, really check out what Astrom's got going on. Now, what do you got going on when you're up on stream?
Uh, I'm constantly trying to branch out, but right now the main draws uh I play a variety of games,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just kind of my staple stream.
Mm-hmm.
But I also do book reading. Um, and I just released an audio role play.
I saw that. I was just listening to that before we did the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to it. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I wanted to see what that was about because I know you mentioned doing that, and I didn't know what that meant. But what does this mean to you being able to do that?
For me, it's I I think I first found it because I was looking for something uh to kind of it's the same concept as watching a movie, right? You disconnect, you it's an escapism.
Right.
Um for myself, there have been times where I had just had a really bad day and I needed something, I needed some form of comfort. And there are role plays in which you are just sharing the night with a friend or roommate and just something comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and that's honestly that's my major goal with it
Mm-hmm.
is it's another avenue for me to be able to provide comfort to my audience.
Oh, folks, check that out on the YouTube channel. We will have a link in the description for that first of hopefully many of
I do have many, many more plans. Yeah.
yeah written and you wrote them yourself.
This one indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you
I
going to
don't know if I'm going to tackle writing another one immediately just
uh
because it was kind of overwhelming and I ad-libbed half of it.
Well, I mean, sometimes, you know, this is something. Okay, now, time for me to put on my old radio man hat.
I'm excited.
Sometimes the ad libs make the recording because it sounds more natural.
That's exactly what it was, is that I had my general script, but as I was reading it out, I went, okay, well, if I was in this position, it would feel more natural to speak this way.
Hmm.
Because sometimes I think when we write, we speak differently through our writing than we do when we use our voices.
Oh yeah, I would be using a lot of commas all over the place. But yeah, this is very true. And then when you read something that you write out, it tends to sound to a little stilted to yourself. Like, did I really say
Yeah,
that?
it doesn't really deliver the same emotion that you were aiming for, I
Yeah.
found.
And plus, you're recording it, which makes it easier to work with. So if you do fluff a line or something, or it just doesn't sound right, you can always edit. And editing is
Yeah.
editing's not fun, but it certainly does get the job done.
This was my first go with any level of editing,
Hmm.
because I did go through and add a ton of sound effects for it, which is something that I've never thought of doing, and finding the timings and spacing things out was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
The recording itself, though, I probably won't do this for longer ones, but it was recorded in one take.
Oh, oh, oh. Well, somebody.
I mean, it wasn't the first take. There were a few others, but I recorded it start to finish
A little humble
without
brag.
cutting it up.
A little bit of humble brag there. That's okay. That's
No,
okay. Someone hits a home run their first at bat. That's all right. That's all
no
right.
big deal. No, I didn't know that's what I didn't think it was a big deal, but
No, no, it really it's I'm getting with you, but it really it does get easier the more you do it, and it does kind of get fun to add things to your recording and create your own sonic universe of
yeah.
immersing people into it. That's why all those old radio programs that people still listen to because
And I think that's something that inspired me in the past, because uh, I grew up with a lot of things like that.
Mhm.
There was a um, not a radio show, but it was broadcast. It was an internet radio
Mhm.
show, and just the stories that could be told with that,
Mhm.
that really just deliver a different type of feeling than any other sort of media. And I've always been fond of that.
I'm going to adopt you as my own child. Just for saying that. Thank you so much. Really, it's very true that you could do a lot with audio that even if you put it on to a animation, you're guiding somebody a lot into what they're going to see. If you just have the audio to it, they get to create their own version of what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of the inverse of reading a book,
Yeah, exactly.
because
Exactly.
you know, you read it and you visualize the setting and the voices, uh but with I don't know what else to call it, but with an audio
Hmm.
sort of experience, you're visualizing the same thing but just in a different capacity.
Yep, yep, yep. Audio is still good for something, folks.
I
Um,
love it. I
yeah,
absolutely love it.
yeah. It really it does allow the imagination to go. Now, you had said that now, but you're also doing books online, reading books. How did you get started on that? And was that an idea that you wanted to do with from the start?
Absolutely not. I had no idea that I was going to be doing it. Uh, what what started it was, I was one of my early streams. I was playing Skyrim,
Hmm.
and I had been going through the lore books that you open up and start. You know, most people skip through them, but I'm a lore fanatic. So any bit of information, of story that I can consume, I will read in detail.
Yeah.
So I was reading it out loud, and the response in chat was, "Can we just have a stream of this, please?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess so. Let's do it."
By popular demand. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it. I wasn't expecting that to be a thing, but honestly, I love doing it because I struggle to enjoy things if I can't share it with people,
Mm.
that's gone for video games, for movies, for music. Uh, and books are often a very solitary experience. So to be able to share it like that has
Yeah,
been really nice.
that's a great way to look at it. The when I've read books in the past, it's been curled up in a ball in the corner and stay away
Which
from
has
me.
its own value, of
Yeah,
course.
yes, just stay away from me. Don't. I'm gonna be here for about 5 hours. Don't bother me. That type of thing. But you're being able now to extend that experience to other folks who want to hear it, and not just hear the book. They want to hear you read the book.
I still can't wrap my head around that. But they want, they show up, so I will continue to do what I do.
So
For as long as there are people who enjoy it, I'll be happy to provide.
So if you keep this up, you're going to be like, in front of the audience all the time. You just keep finding more and more reasons to be in front of the audience.
That's, yeah, like I said, just branching out in every direction that I can. I'm looking for what really works, but also I'm enjoying every step of everything that I've tried to do. So
That's wonderful.
it's, I think there is a lot of people will go in one direction and kind of follow that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great because find what works and use it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're trying to build yourself. People want to be able to have a sort of, they know what to expect from you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still working out what that is for me.
Mm. Well, there's so much left to explore. I mean, you've got a lot of things. You've got some things in the fire still that you haven't completely forged. And I'm not going to mention the word SING, but it might come out in the future, and that
It might happen in the
it
future.
might happen in the future. But again, you're still looking for ways to um, find yourself. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, I like that.
Well, it's
Definitely trying to find
and
what sort of entertainer I really want to be.
yeah, and this is
So at
good.
this point, I want to be everything
I
because
want to be
I've
everything.
enjoyed every part.
So I got a tough one for you here.
Sure.
What has VTubing this way and this success that you had meant to you as a person?
I was
It,
actually really hoping we were going to get to talk about this
yeah.
because it's something I thought about recently.
Uh-huh.
I actually, Lunar's birthday stream, she briefly interviewed a bunch of different VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
And I, when we were talking about it, I realized I have grown as a person so much from being a VTuber. And not only have I grown in a sense of being able to brighten the lives of the people that I interact with, but also that interaction has built me up with confidence, with more of sense of self-respect, and it's changed a lot for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it give you a little bit more spring in your step
Yeah,
when
gives me a little bit. It gives me something to be proud of, and I think for a long time I was looking for that, and I didn't know what was missing.
mm-hmm.
But now that I have it, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful because I will speak for a lot of folks who watch your stuff and say thank you for doing that because
Thank you.
we're better off with you out there helping us get along every day with what you've been putting out so far and continue to. I'm looking forward to see some more of these recordings you're doing. Um, are you going to continue in kind of the vein that you did with the first recording, or have you got other scenarios you've got
I
planned up?
want to explore different types of scenarios. I like the sense of one of the common responses that I got was I'm sorry, I forgot to grab water. One of the common responses I got was that I was listening to it and nearly fell asleep, and I would, while I loved having that sort of impact.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that's more just maybe more adventurous.
Mm.
I'm not sure exactly what I want specifically, but I want to try different genres of it.
Mm. Okay. So you've got a couple different angles you're going to shoot from.
Right. I want to like not only explore in different areas of types of entertainment, but also different genres within those different types.
Mm.
Because I've heard some good horror ones which sounded really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, More just I've one of my favorite VTubers does a lot of fantasy
Mm-hmm.
settings, be it like witches or fairies or what have you. She goes through a lot of different roles.
Right.
And I kind of want to give some of that a try.
What about voice acting in general?
The more that I talk about doing it, the more I realize that because I think every anime fan grows up saying, I want to be a voice actor,
Mm-hmm.
but I never really had any intention of it until recently. And now it's like, absolutely. I called myself an aspiring voice actor
Yeah.
just recently. And I was like, yeah, that feels good. I like that.
Our all old radio guys are like jealous of voice actors because we have a voice. does,
Yeah.
does doing
Right
commercials
now, I
count?
feel like that's about all I've got. So
No, no. I think you're going to have a great experience with this because it's very obvious that you have a very creative base to go from and a lot of want to, and that's going to carry you a long way, and it already has. I mean, from where you started to now, you've been confident enough to continue to expand and find new routes to go and not just entertain people, but to express yourself. That's pretty amazing.
I think that's a big part of the draw is that there's so much that I wanted to because I grew up I wrote a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I never shared it with anybody. It
Mm,
was only for me
yeah,
because I just didn't have that confidence. So
yeah. It does.
it's
It's a big mountain. It is
it
one
is.
is one thing doing
But
art, doing singing in your room, um, writing, then is showing it to somebody. That's then and you're always afraid of the reaction you're going to get. Are you going to have your nose chopped off? Uh, are they going to just steal it?
yeah,
Or what's going to happen? But
there's always going to be a fear to it, but I'm learning the more you do it, the more you keep going, the easier it gets to go.
yeah.
So it's not as intimidating as it was before.
Well, you've come a long way. You're going to be going a long way. I can tell you that. If
I hope so.
yeah. Now, yeah, what have you got any
I'm
big?
not ready to quit anytime soon.
Oh no, you got too many things going on. There's so many plans. What's your plan right now? I mean, do you have anything that's coming up here real soon?
I in the immediate future, I'm taking a short break. I've just got some personal life events that I'm going through.
Mm.
Um, but God, has it been so hard to not everything that I do, I think about, God, I would really like to I'd like to stream this. I can't play anything anymore without being like, I would like to share this with everybody. So I probably won't be gone for too long.
Yeah.
Um, and then at this point, I think I'm looking into making my streams more engaging. I
Mhm.
have a couple of things that I'm going to surprise uh, viewers with the next time that I do stream. So even while taking a break, I'm constantly working on making it better.
We're in for a treat coming up. I can tell that right away.
I hope that people enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying it. So I hopefully they like it as much as I do.
Well, always you can hear. I really love being able to talk to folks when you can hear them smiling, and I can definitely hear you smiling on the other end when you're talking about this. You can hear by how you talk about it that it means that much to you, and you can't help but root for somebody. who's got that going for you. And I was rooting for you anyway, but I'm really rooting for you now.
Yeah, I
So,
appreciate that.
so you took.
Uh, I've obviously when you do something like this, you're going to have your low points.
Mhm.
And there have been multiple times where I thought maybe I don't have it in me anymore. And my close friends have told me that this is the most important thing in the world to you. Don't you dare stop.
Well, they're right this time.
At this time,
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
yeah, but also take care of the other stuff too, so you don't
Yeah,
have to
of
worry about it
course.
so much. As a
Yeah,
eh,
things are getting sorted.
that's the old man in me coming out and telling you about that one. It has been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Please come back again very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and talking with me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.